All right, here we go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Church in Ocean Park. Glad to see you this morning. I hear the sun might peek out today. I'm hoping that maybe happens, but we'll see. We will see. So I'm Dr. Kim, and I'm glad to be back after a couple of weeks away, and looking forward to getting together. So let's do a song today. I've been thinking about this wonderful song by Pat Humphries,
Where's my
Swimming to the Other Side. Remember
where's
this
my
one?
name?
So
Do you know where my name
we're going
is?
to start doing that. And everybody put yourselves on mute because I know here we are. We're still here, but I know soon and very soon, somehow we're going to be in all together. So here we go. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Let's do that one again. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I am alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced on the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection, it will be my crime. In humanity, I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. Here comes the chorus again. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Mhm. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, finding intuition, my head, my heart. I am gathering tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me band together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming
Sorry?
to the other side.
No,
Here
I'm
we
I'm
go. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power, some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. So, everybody, welcome to Church in Ocean Park. Got one more verse of this song. So, yes, we're all singing together. So glad to be doing this one by Pat Humphries. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since the beginning, and we never noticed that they're there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing we've arrived. In humility, we're together. We're all swimming to the other side. All right, one more time, doing the chorus. One more time. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in a stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Welcome to the church in Ocean Park.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Thank you. My name is Janet Gollery McKithen, and I'm the minister here at the church in Ocean Park. And we're interfaith, so you may be wondering if you're welcome, but we are interfaith, so you're welcome if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, atheist, or some combination or something else altogether. We welcome you if you're single, married, divorced, gay, transgender, very rich, or living on the edge. We welcome people who are fidgety, people who are very focused, or just woke up or just got out of jail. We don't care if you're more religious than the Pope, or if you haven't been to mosque since before the pandemic. We welcome soccer moms, tree huggers, latte sippers, vegetarians, and junk food eaters. We welcome those who are in recovery or still addicted. We welcome you if you're having problems, if you're down in the dump, or if you woke up soaring on eagle's wings, or some of both. We welcome you if you like organized religion, or if you're repelled by it. We welcome you if you work too hard, if you don't work, you can't spell, or you're Zoom shopping and just dropped in. We welcome those who are inked or pierced or both. We especially welcome you if you're standing in the need of prayer today, or if you've been hurt by a religious community. We are here very cautiously, and we hope you find this a place of healing. We welcome tourists, seekers, and doubters, and you. You are welcome at the church in Ocean Park. We want to begin by acknowledging that most of us right now are sitting on stolen land. In Santa Monica, the land was taken violently from the Chumash, the Quiche, and the Tongva peoples. We acknowledge the harms of genocide, forced assimilation, enslavement, and the destruction at the hands of US colonial settlerism. We also acknowledge that our communities and country were built on the backs of people who were stolen from Africa, placed into bondage, and forced into labor. And we acknowledge that we benefit from that labor that has never been repaid. In our acknowledgement, let us commit ourselves to healing by helping to create a more just and equitable world through the struggle of changing how we do things that we see as normal, but that are actually systemically hurting people. We center ourselves each week with a chant by Thich Nhat Hanh, and it will be chanted by Louise Dobbs.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Yes, I wonder if some of you ruminate too much. Ruminating is not being in the now. So I want to bring us, and myself mainly, I hope you follow, I want to bring myself into the present. I have arrived, I am home in the here and in the now, and we'll sing that 3 times. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now.
Now I get the pleasure of introducing our friend, and most of you don't need an introduction, but I'll introduce him anyways. He's a part of the church in Ocean Park. But Andre is an artist, an author, and a poet, and many more things. That's just 3 of the things that Andre is. His fine art is on display in over 30 museums, including the South African National Gallery. And if you ever get a chance, you should look at some of it. He was born in Zimbabwe and is the co-founder and co-director of All Paths Divinity School. Andre is also a husband, a father, and a grandfather. And he's also a part of the church in Ocean Park. We're so glad. Welcome, Andre.
Thank you so much, Janet. I'm just hoping everyone can hear me. I have prepared something, and I'm hoping it offers you something. So you'll excuse me reading. I will try and look up now and again to make sure I don't look like a computer talking. Knowing all, knowing nothing. Thank you, Janet, for inviting me today. It's always wonderful to feel at home amongst all of you. And I'll just say a little bit about Navaratri. It celebrates Ma Durga, her name also Kali, vanquishing the buffalo demon Mahishasura. In the Hindu calendar, Durga is a major Hindu goddess, worshipped as the principal aspect of the mother goddess. She's associated with strength, protection, motherhood, war, destruction, time, and change. Just a little word about gods and goddesses in the Hindu pantheon. They don't so much represent different gods and goddesses. They represent different aspects of the one divinity. So they're, in a sense, a god has multiple personalities called gods and goddesses. The Devas, gods and goddesses, were always at odds with the Asuras, demons. This event celebrates the victory of good over evil. However, I will not speak of this regarding the mythology of gods and goddesses. To my mind, there seems to be a schism between the popular mythologies of the priestly caste and the more austere, removed, forest-dwelling teachers of the philosophy of Advaita or non-dualism. So in a sense, there are two paths, there are four main paths in Hinduism, but there's a division between the popular religious rituals and ceremonies and the deities that are involved there, and the more philosophical understanding of what non-dualism is. In case you don't know what non-dualism is, there's a Christian writer, Joel Goldsmith, who said, and maybe this explains it, there's no God and. So I'll let you stay with that one. The former celebrated the stories of gods and goddesses with their victories, defeats, and their abiding attraction as spiritual ideals for the populace to follow as Ishta Devata, their chosen ideals. In the same way, Christians have chosen the figure of Jesus of Nazareth as the focus of their devotion. The contrast between the cult of Jesus the man, albeit the Son of God, and the Christ consciousness he rose to be, the beacon of light that he has become for the ages, could be seen as the same contrast between the priestly religious practices of popular Hinduism and the more monistic practices of the adherents of non-dualist insight. This brings me to the quest for religious or spiritual ecstasy as a goal of vanquishing good over evil through devotional practice. The desire for a unitive experience, merging our isolated individuality into the vast embrace of the Dark Mother, Kali. How do we do this? I would like to propose that everything we do be as self-care to try to calm the inbuilt anxiety of body and mind. Yet short of absolute surrender to Divine Mother, finally accepting that nothing one does or doesn't do can force the divine to attend to one's yearning and finally split one's chest open to the void. This is a step we all have to take on our own, to throw our souls with all that we have and all that we could ever hope for off the cliff of the known, trusting that the unknown, unknowable dark might catch us. This is a brutal risk few dare even conceive of, never mind risk taking. The novel I've just finished has helped me put it into perspective. I speak of the book, The Seven Moons of Mali Almeida, a dark satire about the civil war in Sri Lanka. To tell you that it won the Booker Prize for 22, and that it's about a soul wandering the in-between before attempting to merge with the light, might not be enough for you to go out and get it. I'm sharing this because it's helping me view this waking dream self from the vantage point of the in-between. The Buddhists call it the bardo, in-between lives. To do a life review of all the blunders, stumbling, and sheer bloody-mindedness that it has been my privilege to experience is remarkably freeing. To see oneself through the eyes of a third party is mighty sobering, if not downright humbling. Witnessing the diaphanous divide between the actual life someone leads and what it feels like to try and contact loved ones from beyond the veil is fascinating, especially as if in the life of Mali, the main protagonist, one had a mission to accomplish that might just have failed by having been thrown off a tall building too soon. I won't tell you more about the book, except that sometimes great literature captures the complexity and messiness of divine human interaction in ways that sometimes scripture and holy books remove us from compassionately accepting. Sometimes secular books seem to allow us better subtle insight than the absolutist so-called holy authorities. They speak in the tongues of struggling humans rather than angels, words we can hear beyond the abstraction of spiritual jargon or specialized knowledge. Perhaps secular language allows angelic insight, even in the midst of human experience of suffering and confusion. I'm saying that mixing it up allows our spiritual lives a latitude of motion. For example, my habitual spiritual practice is mantra repetition. Still this morning, I did a simple breathing meditation, watching the in-breath and the out-breath. And an hour and a half went by in what seemed like minutes, with such a depth of quiet, joyful peace. It gave me pause to acknowledge the privilege of simply drawing breath, recognizing the everyday miracle it is. How fortunate are we? The direct impact of being mindful is that I'm watching the mind with the focus of a compassionate hunter, watching for its dizzyingly swift transitions from sweet equanimity to sudden mad impulse, and taking the position of my parole officer. I'm not judgy, but simply alert to my tendency to forget who I truly am beyond my story, reminding myself to remember who and what I truly am in each moment. So our choice is, instead of reliving the fractured, wounded past into our future by going on autopilot, we take charge of what visitors we invite into God's throne room, the mind. We deliberately choose to adorn our inner sanctum, our creative visualization, actualization chamber, with thoughts that elevate, ennoble, enliven, sanctify, and through that, gentle the raving lunatic of habitually addicted unconscious behavior. This is the crux of it all. We dare not believe our thoughts until we first scrutinize them with the fine-tooth comb of heavenly regard. This is how we change the world. one new, deliberate, creative thought at a time. Good and evil represent opposites. So if we practice mindfulness instead of escapist mindlessness, we experience time as the gift of grace, allowing us to change a negative thought to a positive one. I love the gift of this mind. With it, we can create heaven or hell. There is no good or evil outside of it. To imagine that we have no power to radically transform the experience of embodiment from suffering to joy, from the anguish of having missed the mark, my preferred definition of sin, to the joy of being in divine flow, is to believe the randomness of thoughts, feelings, and impulses not our own, succumbing to the rage and despair of the mass subconscious. We support the good and neutralize the separation from our beloved, our Ishta Devata, whether it is Jesus Christ, Sri Ramakrishna, or Ma Durga. My latest take on the daily spiritual quest is more for balance than attainment, 51% more balance than imbalance. That leaves a positive balance of 1% in my heavenly bank account. As a younger man, I took the attitude of a spiritual kamikaze pilot, taking on a grim suicidal determination to storm heaven's gates. But now in my dotage, I have smaller hills to climb, and I'm quite content in that gentle abiding. So in the infinite wisdom of the great absurdity, how to balance ecstatic oblivion and structural inequity. Tiny wrist flexes, mindfulness. The prayer of mindfulness is extreme social action. The prayer of mindfulness is self-care. The prayer of mindfulness is mercy against the demons of distraction. The prayer of mindfulness is love for all. To be mindful is to remember who we are in the sight of God. I enjoyed this teaching by Rabbi Pinson. He says, to come closer to Hashem, we must become more godly, not more spiritual, otherworldly, or detached. We are to become more involved, present, caring, and creative, even as we become more transcendent. This balance is wonderfully accomplished through doing mitzvot, for mitzvots are transcendent deeds performed in the physical here and now. The very deed connects the doer with the creator. This is the essence of the Magen David, or six-pointed star. The symbol is comprised of two triangles, one pointing up and one pointing down. The triangle with the wide side on top symbolizes the limitless expanse of heaven, and through tzitsum, or constricting and condensing itself, it descends through the proverbial glass blower's tube of the tree of life. Like a funnel, this triangle contracts the energy of heaven until a specific soul spark manifests in a unique individual point of projection and presence in the physical plane. A limited body or form results. The triangle with the wide side on the bottom has its base in the four corners of the finite universe and wells up like a wave or a mountain. It rises up to the highest crown of creation, the infinitesimal point of upper unity. As human beings, we are situated in the middle of these two interpenetrating triangles. We embody a strange mixture of stardust and sand dune. We elevate flesh to flame, while at the same time we reveal Hashem in this world. We offer earth up to heaven, and we bring heaven down to earth. We harness physicality in the service of the spiritual, while at the same time we experience the spiritual through the physical. Ultimately, we experience the unity and transcendence of all of these dichotomies. We are one with the oneness of being itself. This is the miracle, a miracle that the mind can never unravel, but writes whole books about. This seamless, qualityless unity bifurcates itself into all the oppositional twins of manifest reality. Life, death, you, me, them, us, masculine, feminine, good, bad, coming, going, here, there, now, then, and so on ad infinitum. These apparent divisions of the one into the catatonic cacophony of the many do not contradict the indivisible unity of being that breathes life into all the divine picture show that the Hindus call Maya. Maya, the realm of delusion, the realm of forgetting our true nature and living in the darkness and ignorance of the true self. The light of compassionate awareness is not an escapist spiritual bypassing, but a genuine melting of our fear and reservations and allowing the light that lives in the darkness to caress us with its unending love, to grace each thought, act, and feeling with a more than human love, to allow us to be more fully human, more fully divine. Contentment, silence, and stillness abide when the heart is blown open to the cosmic vastness of true being. All questions then become amusements for the mind to enjoy as sport. Our journey is to allow the small I to dissolve and merge into the big I, the Atman Brahman or God, the ultimate divine in the Christian sense, to allow us to relax into the joyful embrace of the light, which births everything into being each day. Birthed into the light of the miraculous ordinary of our lives, each breath then becomes a sacrament and an anointing, the victory of good over self-forgetting. I've been feeling the tenderness of grief, not as a sorrow, but as a gateway to feeling the sweet vulnerability of our shared human experience. We are seemingly separate but inextricably bound to the miraculous ordinary of our ups and downs, the vastness of the inner fullness of aliveness that greets us each day, to remember our belonging to the blueness of the sky, the greenness of life all around, to the breeze as the breathing of the divine. Nothing is exempt from tenderness. Anger, loneliness, shame, resistance, judgment, all these inner orphans deserve the shelter of forgiveness so that they can dissolve into the clarity of this enfolding unfoldment of grace. It is in our turning and surrender to Mar Durga, Mother Kali, Divine Mother, that we find solace and divine protection. In closing, here's a short excerpt from a chant offered during Navaratri to the Divine Mother. Atta Tantrokam Devi Shuktam. We bow to the goddess, to the great goddess, to the energy of infinite goodness. We prostrate with hands together to nature, to the excellent one. We bow to the reliever of sufferings, to the eternal, to the embodiment of rays of light. We continually bow to the goddess who manifests light, to the form of devotion, to happiness. We bow to the extremely beautiful and to the extremely fierce. We bow, we bow. We bow to the establisher of the perceivable world and who is the mundane existence. We bow, we bow. We bow to the divine goddess in all existence, who is addressed as the perishable, perceivable form of consciousness which pervades all. We bow to her. We bow to her. We continually bow to her. Thank you.
Now is time for community sharing. This is a time when you have a chance to, the opportunity to say a few words or to ask a question. You can do it by raising your hand the Zoom way, or you can go like this and we'll try to see where you are. It doesn't matter if you come here every Sunday or if this is your first time, you can speak. Craig, Ali. You're muted. There you go.
Thank you very much, dear brother. I am constantly reminded in this plane that sense of order and hierarchy, and I'm wondering, does that same, I guess you could say, level of hierarchy exist within the realm of which you speak, if that is known? Or does that run counter to nirvana and or enlightenment?
I'm assuming you're asking me.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Andre. That's for you. That's for you.
I would say hierarchy is a natural result of manifestation. However, hierarchy cannot contradict love, which has no hierarchy. I think big and small cannot be changed. Rich and poor cannot be changed. Good and evil cannot be changed, but love overrides everything. And if we are in love with our lives, we offer that love into the tiniest act. We fall in love with washing dishes. We fall in love with taking the dog for a walk. We fall in love with watching the sky as the wind waves through the trees. We fall in love with a silly conversation with the neighbor. We fall in love with paying taxes. We fall in love with resisting paying bills. We fall in love with getting sick. We fall in love with falling in love. Hierarchy is the refuge of those who cannot abide the equality of love. I suppose that's my answer.
That's it. Thank you, Andre. I love your answer. Jerry Rubin.
Okay, can you hear me, everybody?
Yeah.
Thank you. I happen to think this has just been sitting here for a long time, and I just wanted to, can you read it, what it says?
Love is our sole purpose, Yes.
Okay. But, I mean, Andre, what a speaker you are. I mean, Alan Watts, move over, you know? Holy cow. But I'd have to say that whatever level I'm on, it's hard for me to even comprehend the completeness of everything you said, even though it sounded like it was on the right path. But I'm wondering, love this, love that, love taking out the garbage, love, well, I'm not quite there yet. You know, you're not saying love racism or love bigotry or love hate, are you?
No, look, hate is self-damaging. Racism is self-damaging. You can only treat others the way you treat yourself. So if you're treating others badly, it's because you're treating yourself badly. We only are who we think we are. And if we think we are in a world of hate, we are suffering more than we like to admit. And I think there's a neighbor below me who got offended by one of our other neighbors when she asked him to move his car because he was blocking her driveway. And he started calling her all sorts of names, racist and shaming names. And when I saw him next, I thought of giving him a bit of my tongue. And then I stopped because I said to myself, he is suffering. He is suffering so badly that he doesn't know how to treat others. He doesn't even know how to treat himself. So I will leave him in his suffering, his self-chosen suffering, and I will trust in the Lord that dwells within each cell of his being to shame him into better behavior. I don't have to do God's work for it because it is everywhere and in everything. All I can do is remember that and allow that to come through when I remember it. And thank you for a very extravagant compliment about Alan Watts. I think my wattage is only 60 watts.
Thank you, Andre. Hannah, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. Oh, your wattage is bright, very bright. It's just all beaming. It's that was truly wonderful. And for me, so timely. I wanted to ask if you were familiar with Lucille Cedarkrantz and any of her writings. I've been taking her, or sort of doing on my own, her corrective thinking, and it's truly life transforming. It just, and she started with the triangle the way you did, and it was like that's one of the meditations that I've been doing for the last several months, and it's really quite wonderful. So if you are familiar with Lucille Cedarkrantz and any of her,
I'm not.
oh, you're not. Oh my goodness, I
Thank
can't
you.
imagine.
Thank you for
Well, anyway, she's from
alerting me.
1957, is when 56, 57 is when she was writing, and she wrote Nature of the Soul, Corrective Thinking, and The Soul and Its Instrument. And it's really powerful stuff. Anyway, it's
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you. You could put that in the chat, Hannah, like the name of that. Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, thanks.
Joseph.
Yes. While you were speaking, Andre, this thought came to me. I remember while I was writing my dissertation here, there was a passage in the Bhagavad Gita where the Prince Arjuna was ready for battle. He was ready to fight war. And when he came in front of the army that he had to fight, he visualized them. It seemed as though he visualized them as people who were members of his own family, not as soldiers, but members of his own family. So he looked at them like they were relatives. The younger soldiers, he saw them like as if they were friends and infants and so on that he had known before. And so so he couldn't fight because he saw the enemy as children and people of his own family. So he broke down and he appealed to the god Krishna for help. But God laughed at him. Krishna laughed at him because, I was wondering what you think of that. Why did the God laugh at him? Maybe he laughed at him because we really have to stand up to fight for what is good. Sometimes we put too much focus on the good, and that blinds us to areas of life, other areas of life that we need to focus on. Is that so?
Well, Swami Vivekananda said that good and evil are not different in kind, but only in degree. So we live in a world of degree. And according to our understanding of true identity, if our identity is the absolute, absolute bliss, absolute consciousness, and absolute being, then we're part of this drama called the waking dream. And we're play acting, we're acting a part. And if our part is to kill someone to defend our home, our place, then that's the part we're playing. But in reality, no one dies and no one is killed, because the deathless self, the birthless and deathless self, is the true self of everything and every being. So knowing that, we play our part as convincingly as we can. So if we're a policeman, we have to catch the bad guys. We can't get away from playing our role. But we can choose in our own experience whether to adopt the good rather than the evil. And that's a choice. I mean, I think that those who commit evil are in a sense admitting to the fact that they are suffering. And suffering so badly they can't tell the difference. So in a sense, committing an act of evil is its own punishment. We don't have to stand in judgment of them. There was a story of a man approaching a snake, and or at least the snake went up to this guru and said, "Look, I'm tired of everybody shunning me every time I come near them. What should I do?" And the guru said something like, well, you don't have to bite them. Just be yourself. So he pondered this idea of not biting them. So when the children came near him, he would just stay there, and they would then take sticks and stones and throw them at him. And it got so bad that he couldn't really find anything to eat because he got hounded all the time by the children. And when the guru came by again, he said, "Why are you so thin and weak?" And he said, "Well, you told me not to harm anyone. So this is the result." And he said, "Well, I told you not to bite them, but I didn't tell you not to hiss."
Yes.
So the snake has its own nature, as everyone has its own nature. But the mystery of good and evil is not something we can intellectually solve, but we can transmute our experience of the demons of our own understanding within our own being and transmute them through loving attendance and self-forgiveness.
Yes. Thank you.
I hope that answered something.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Andre.
Pleasure.
Are there others? I just want to say thank you so much, Andre, for this, not only the message, but also the sharing during this community sharing has been very rich. And, you know, it's helpful for us, I think, as anybody who is an activist to to hear some of this, and to hear that as we're doing the work of ensuring or trying to make sure that other people are not hurt by people's actions, to realize that there are different ways to look at it and different ways to experience it, and experience who those people are as we're working for change, so that others don't get hurt by actions. So we still need to work against the actions, but we don't. But how we frame it and how we look at the other person has a big effect on our own soul and on the soul of the world. So thank you so much. Hannah has one more. It's okay. Go ahead and. Oh.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say I have learned the biggest lessons in my life in terms of my own personal growth from not resisting what's coming at me. And sometimes it's really awful. I mean, people I have a neighbor who has hated me since 2013. And I mean, like, it's years, it's a decade. And she's just taken me to court. She's done all kinds of things, and it's all been proven groundless. And but it has, I said it to someone who I'm kind of talking about anyway, I said it the other day. It's like I almost want to thank her. I have become so much more caring for her. I'm really, I see her as someone really and truly troubled, and it's sad. It's just terribly sad. Um,
Yep.
and it's making me like really stand strong and give her all the space she needs. And anyway, it's been wonderful. I think that's why there's good and bad. I think that's why I think, that there is this darkness. It hones the soul of us.
Chogyam Trungpa said, if you see anger in someone else, see that other person as a mirror of your own anger and attend to your own anger.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate all that you're sharing, Andre. And I appreciate everything that you all have said as well. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to have a song now coming out of community sharing, and make it very simple. It's going to be right in the chat. Guide my feet while I run this race, because I don't want to run this race in vain. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet now while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Guide my heart. Guide my heart while I run this race. Oh, guide my heart now while I run this race. Guide my heart while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Stay by me. Stay by me while I run this race. Oh, stay by me while I run this race. Stay by me while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Guide my feet. Guide my feet while I run this race. Oh, guide my feet now while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Oh, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Oh, 'cause I don't want to run this race in vain. Racing
you, Dr. Kim, for that song. It's wonderful. I didn't hear any birthdays, but do we have any birthdays or anniversaries to sing happy birthday to? Oh, Marilyn. All right. Well, we're going to sing the standard birthday song for you, and I will start, and then Kim. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Marilyn. Happy birthday to you.
Beautiful, beautiful song. All right, this now is the time we unmute ourselves and we hold hands across the world, and the huge circle. We have a huge circle now, guys, way bigger than it used to be, because we are encompassing a lot of places. So we're going to say together, carry on. 1, 2, 3.
Carry on. Carry on.
Carry on.
Fran, I
Carry
miss your
on.
voice.
This is my mom, you guys.